All right. Hey, y'all. It's Sunday here in Florida. Chilly, 50 degrees, and we're popping in with you probably like 50.
50 is not
But
chilly.
we woke up at what? 30?
40.
40? Okay, anyway. So today's video is about generators. We're going to be comparing, or Jeff will be comparing, because I don't know a thing. I just know I need a generator in case the power go out. But we're comparing a Champion, and I already forgot the other one. What is it?
Westinghouse.
Oh, Westinghouse. So he's going to be comparing the two generators while we switched and from 2 to 1. And I'll just let him take it away from there.
All right, so we just bought a Westinghouse Igen 4500. Onan has one similar. They're almost the same exact form factor, same specs. So one is cloning the other. I don't know who cloned who. They're probably both Chinese knockoffs of something, but they have pretty good specs. So we went ahead and bought this one for a couple of reasons. It has electric start. It has 4,500 watts of power available, 32 or 3,700 max running watts, which is more than enough for what we need it for. And it has a long runtime. One of the challenges we've ran into with the Champions is that they have small fuel tanks, and they only run, the maximum we can get out of them is 8 to 10 hours, depending on usage. If we have a load on it, it's less than that. So it's a pretty short runtime, and if you're running AC overnight and you want to sleep in, or if you don't want to go out at midnight before you go to bed and refuel them, it's kind of annoying. Whereas the Westinghouses are supposed to have a 16-hour runtime at 25% load and like a 12-hour runtime at 50% load, which is what we'll probably end up with on them anyways. So this is going to be not really unboxing because it was already unboxed, but putting oil in it, its first start, listening to it at idle, listening to it under a little bit of a load, and comparing it to the Champion. Now, the reason why we decided to change and why we went with this direction is because we have somewhat of a unique electrical situation in our RV, because we have solar, we have an inverter, and that's running to an AM smart solar phase selector, which is its own little unique beast, and we've got power control and distribution inside the RV. So there's a bunch of pieces playing together, and unlike the simple Cedar Creek power distribution that we had before, we weren't able to take advantage of the entire supposedly 6,000 watts that the two Champions would put out. And in all reality, with the way that we're set up, we can only take advantage of a maximum of 30 watts from the generator with the inverter and the smart phase selector. So it made no sense to have more than really 30 running watts available to us. Sorry, not 30 running watts, but 3,000 running watts available to us. Candace is like, yeah, whatever.
It's all like
it's all Greek.
Chart, yeah, Greek.
So our goal is to comfortably have 3,000 watts of power without loading down the generator. Now, with the Champions, we could do that comfortably with running two of them in parallel, and that meant dragging two generators around, fueling two generators.
Okay. I know that much.
Yeah, hooking up the parallel thing, and it's just changing oil in two generators, maintaining two generators, all that. Because they really were only comfortable running right around 2,200 watts. Once you went over 2,200 watts, they're running pretty hard, and they're kind of loud, and they ran out of gas fairly quickly.
Yes.
So the Westinghouse, while it's a little bit bigger, is smaller overall than the two generators. In our little informal testing today, it's a little bit quieter. I expect it to be quieter, putting out 3,000 watts than the Champions were. And I expect it to run longer when we're trying to get extended fuel runs. The goal when we get this fully set up is to leave the generator on the truck, the big truck, right, the heavy duty truck, and run a power input into the front of the trailer that goes to the built-in generator transfer switch, and then have the ability to run it while we're driving on the road, and also while it's parked next to it. The ability to run it while it's driving on the road is so that we don't pull into some place when it's 90 degrees outside and it's 90 degrees in the RV. We really would like to be able to run an AC unit or two for an hour or two before we pull in.
Nice.
Now, with the generator and the inverter and the solar combined, we're not limited to 30 amps or 3,000 watts, because the inverter will pull from the battery bank, which is charging from the solar, and combine up to 50 amps or 5,000 watts. With the micro airs that we have on the AC units, we can run 2 AC units on it, so we can actually be pretty comfortable off of those, and we can alternate between the bedroom and the office AC. So at the end of the day, this should give us plenty of power to run everything we need, supplemented with solar, or in and of itself, if it's a cloudy day, running without solar. I think I've rambled enough.
Yes.
If you have specific questions, shoot us a message, because I can answer a bunch of questions. We have kind of a convoluted setup that's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it works for us. It puts power to every outlet all the time, which is kind of nice. But yeah, shoot us some questions and we can answer any specific questions you have directly. So, off to the review. All right, so this is our new generator. It's a Westinghouse Igen 4500. Just taken it out of the box this morning, so this is kind of what it comes packaged like when you take it out. We haven't put any oil in it or connected to the battery. When you receive it, you'll have a panel in there that I've taken off, and that covers the oil fill, which we're going to fill up here in a little bit. And the battery is going to be stuck in there with a plastic bag over those contacts, but it's not going to be connected. The battery cover was actually sitting separately in the box. I guess that's to let you figure out where the battery is. And you've got a box of accessories, and there you see you've got the little push button remote control for it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and get it set up and see how it works. So inside the box, we've got a electrical plug-in. I'm guessing this is for charging, but I'm not sure. I haven't read the directions yet. We have a funnel for putting oil in it. And we have a basic little toolkit that has the stuff to take your spark plug out and do basic maintenance on it. It's kind of nice that they include that with it. And it comes with oil so you can get set up and get started. In the main box, you also get your user's guide, and it comes with a registration gift. If you register, they'll send you a free generator cover. So there's that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some oil in it. You got your oil fill right here. Dipstick with the checks on it so it'll hold oil and you can see. Basically, the way these things work is if they're full of, if they start dripping oil out, they're full. And it looks like we're full of oil. And the cover just snaps in. It's just stick it in there, snap it in place. Now we've got oil in it. So the next thing we're going to do is put the battery in. The battery came already hooked up with the wire here with a connector on it. So basically all I have to do is set it into the battery tray, connect this up, and it should be ready to go. We've got it snapped into place with the rubber tie down. Pull this down and plug in the connector, and it should be ready to go. The battery compartment cover, just like the oil cover, take this, snap it in there, and close it. So now we just need to go get some gas in it. Got the remote. We're going to see if it works right out of the box ready to go, or if we're going to need to manually start it and see what happens. And obviously not going to work straight out of the box. But we turn that to run. Helps to turn the fuel on. Go. So, once I turn it to run and actually turn the fuel on, it started right up, right out of the box. And I am talking over it right now, right next to it at idle. It's pretty quiet. I think it's more quiet than my Champion generators, which is kind of the goal of switching out generators. So I'm going to let it run for a few minutes before I turn it off, and then we're going to compare it to the Champion. So if we go around to the front of the generator, we'll see that it's a little bit quieter. Our first look at it just a second ago was at the back where the exhaust is blowing. So this is how it runs at idle, and it's very quiet. You could comfortably have a conversation out here. So now we're going to grab the Champion and see what we got. It's been a good generator. The sucker has worked and started on the first pole just about every time, and it has done us pretty good for the last 4 years, since 2016. I did put new carburetors on them last summer, but it's been a good generator. We just wanted to move to this one because it's got a little bit more capacity, and it's got quite a bit bigger fuel tank compared to the Champion. The Champion will make it about 8 hours max. This other one is supposed to go 16 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up, and then we're going to compare the noise on the two generators. So there's the Champion running at idle. It'll about double that noise level when it's plugged in, and then we're going to compare that to the Westinghouse at idle as well. So already it sounds like it's quieter to me at idle. We'll see how it is under load, but at idle, it's quite a bit quieter. So the next thing I'm going to do is move these generators around, plug them in, run some electricity, and see how they are under a load. See how the Westinghouse compares. All right, so we've got the generators back here. We're going to go ahead and plug in, and we're going to see how they sound. Right now the coach is showing a 1500 watt load on it, so it's not a huge load, but I just want to put a little bit of load on it and see what they're doing. If you're using a portable generator and you've got a surge protector or a power distribution system or other electronic protection device, you may need one of these for your generator. This is just a bonding plug that shows ground to your coach with the portable generator. So I'm going to plug it into the Champion, plug the Champion into the coach, go ahead and start it up, and we'll see what it does. Now normally you may want to turn the breaker off inside the main breaker until your generator comes up to speed, but ours is filtered through the inverter, so there shouldn't be any surge or any power disturbance to the actual electronics in the coach, so I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. So you hear it idle down, nothing's actually engaged yet. We'll see if it switches over to the coach. Should hear a light. So we've got power set up and hooked up inside. The Champion is running. It's running at 1800 watts right now. And you can kind of hear it's a little bit noisy. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch that out to the Westinghouse, run it on the same 1800 watts, and see what kind of noise we end up with the Westinghouse. Hopefully it's quite a bit quieter. That's one of the goals here. Let's start this thing up and see what happens. Quiet right now. No load's been applied yet. Give it a few seconds for the inverter to switch it over. Wow. There it goes. Finally, a load's been applied to it. A little bit quieter than the Champion. It isn't wildly lighter. It's a little bit quieter than Champion. It's not wildly quieter, but it's a little bit more pleasant sound. I'm going to go inside and see what kind of load's being applied to it right now. So the load being applied to it right now is 1800 watts, same as it was on the Champion. So not a drastic difference in noise. Go ahead and plug back in. It's not disturbing our neighbors. So as you can see, the Westinghouse was a little bit quieter. We expected to be quieter under load, but we've got to give it some long-term tests, and I don't really want to do that in a campground with a neighbor 10 feet away. Yeah. We'd rather do that when we're at a Harvest Host location or boondocking or something like that. Yeah. So we will get back with, yard docking. So we will get back with you with more information on the Westinghouse, how it turns out long-term compared to the Champions. But so far, it looks like it might be a winner.
That's that, y'all. I'm just glad Jeff don't have to drag out two generators no more. Just one and maintain one. And that's all I got to say about that, y'all. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Any questions, drop them below, and we'll be happy to help y'all. Thanks. We'll see you next time.